Coming in for relief at quarterback nearly 6 weeks ago, Roosevelt quarterback Brian Pointer has developed into a solid player to keep the Eagles in the hunt for a playoff spot. George Watson has more with our City Player of the Week.
All right, thanks, Travis. Here with Roosevelt quarterback Brian Pointer, and I say quarterback, knowing Brian, he's played a lot of positions in his career between here and Muleshoe, but right now Brian is doing a great job leading the Roosevelt offense on the cusp of the playoffs, but having to switch at quarterback at about mid-season. Brian, talk about having the switch, obviously not how you wanted to with Corey Warnock's injury, but talk about coming in and having to, make the position switch at mid-season.
Yes, sir. Corey was a great quarterback, and it was tough to just step in there, being a receiver, and it took me a couple weeks to kind of get over the, starting to be the quarterback, but once I got it going, it feels a lot better now. So. What
was the hardest part? Was it just, because obviously the offense, your dad is the coach here, you've grown up in this offense, so, kind of knowing the offense wasn't the big deal. Was it just the intricacies of the position or what?
It was tough starting to learn to read the defenses and know where you're supposed to be looking at first and just making the throws that you need to do, but over time, you just kind of get used to it. So.
And I mentioned it a little bit ago. When you started out your career at Muleshoe, your varsity career at least as a sophomore, you were a center for 2 years. Not many people go from center to receiver to quarterback. Talk about having to switch back and forth, or not back and forth, but through all the three positions out there.
Yes, sir. Well, whenever I was a sophomore, I'd always played receiver and tight end. So, and then they said they needed a center. So I said I was the first one to step up there. I just was trying to make varsity. So. So they told me they'd move me back my junior year, but that ended up being a 2-year deal, and I think it was good for me. It taught me a lot about the whole offense, and then I went back to receiver this year, and I really enjoyed that. But then Corey went down, and so just trying to step up and be a quarterback now. So
now talk about not only changing position, but changing schools, changing cities. You grew up going to Muleshoe, playing 2 years varsity there, and you know what kind of season they're having. Obviously Roosevelt, they weren't projected to have that kind of season, but you guys are right on the cusp of the playoffs. Talk about being able to make the playoffs, what that would mean for this group here.
Well, I think it'd be amazing for us to make the playoffs. We were picked almost last in our district by a lot of people, and we knew that we could. We knew we had a good team here, and my dad, he's doing a really good job, a great job here, and everybody's just picked up on the system, and everybody's just doing a great job.
Talk about one thing he talked about was you being able to step into a leadership role as a new kid in the school. Most new kids are just trying to fit in. What is it that allowed you to maybe step in and become a team leader for these guys?
Well, ever since I got here, everybody's just been real great to me. They've just really accepted me. I've got right in, even in the off season whenever I came last year, and it's just been a great situation ever since I got here. Everybody's been really great.
Well, a big game this week at Denver City. Talk about that. You guys make the playoffs. A little, in post loses, you guys are in. How big is this for this community right now?
It's really big. We haven't made the playoffs a whole lot being at Roosevelt, but we're just taking it one game at a time, just looking at a great team in Denver City and just trying to focus on them the whole time. And we need to just get this one win first. So.
Well, I guarantee you, the way they've been playing lately, especially with Brian at quarterback, that playoff position shouldn't be too far off. Brian Pointer, appreciate you joining us. Travis, back to you.
All right, Brian Pointer obviously making his dad and head coach pretty proud, George, but his teammates as well.
Yeah, it's a big deal for what Brian's been able to do here for the Eagles in here the last 3 or 4, or actually I guess 6 weeks since coming in for Corey Warnock. Here's a kid who started out his career as a center, then he went to wide receiver, and then he went to quarterback. I asked his dad, I said, "Do you ever have to gain any weight or try or anything?" He said, "Well, he tried when he was an offensive lineman. He tried to gain some weight, but he just couldn't do it." But it just shows you the versatility that this kid has and the abilities he has growing up in this offense. With his dad, talking about it all the time. Said, if he has any questions, they go to the field house and look at film and do whatever they can to try to figure that stuff out. But Brian has done a good job, and not only that, but it's hard for a new kid to come into any school, whether he's an athlete or not. But the way he's kind of fit in with his team, with his school, he's just thought of very widely at that school, and a great job he's doing for the Roosevelt football team.
The Tigers are rolling through District 4-4A and staying undefeated. We'll get an inside look at that Friendship D with defensive coordinator Don Black sits with George Watson for our Coach's Chalk Talk session up next on The Fever.